Howdy, y'all. I have a short but interesting story time for you this evening. And as usual, it is a Grimm's tale. And if you haven't seen my disclaimer, these are not for kids. These are not children's fairy tales. And please watch my video entitled Disclaimer Not for Kids. Thanks. Okay, so this one is short but interesting in several points. Let me go ahead and read it, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. All right. This is called The Rabbit's Bride. There once was a woman who lived with her daughter in a beautiful cabbage garden, and there came a rabbit and ate up all the cabbages. At last the woman said to her daughter, "Go into the garden and drive out the rabbit." "Shoo, shoo," said the maiden. "Don't eat up all our cabbages, little rabbit." "Come, maiden," said the rabbit. "Sit upon my tail and go with me to my rabbit hutch." But the maiden would not. Another day, back came the rabbit and ate away at the cabbages until the woman said to her daughter, "Go into the garden and drive away the rabbit." "Shoo, shoo," said the maiden. "Don't eat up all our cabbages, little rabbit." "Come, maiden," said the rabbit. "Sit upon my tail and go with me to my rabbit hutch." But the maiden would not. Again, a third time, back came the rabbit and ate away at the cabbages until the woman said to her daughter, "Go into the garden and drive away the rabbit." "Shoo, shoo," said the maiden. "Don't eat up all our cabbages, little rabbit." "Come, maiden," said the rabbit. "Sit upon my tail and go with me to my rabbit hutch." And then the girl seated herself upon the rabbit's tail, and the rabbit took her to his hutch. "Now," said he, "set to work and cook some bran and cabbage, and I am going to bid the wedding guests." And soon they were collected. Would you like to know who they were? Well, I can only tell you what was told to me. All the hares came, and the crow who was to be the parson to marry them, and the fox for the clerk, and the altar was under the rainbow. But the maiden was sad because she was so lonely. Get up," said the rabbit. "The wedding folk are all merry." But the bride wept and said nothing, and the rabbit went away, but very soon came back again. Get up," said he. "The wedding folk are all waiting." But the bride said nothing, and the rabbit went away. Then she made a figure of straw, and dressed it in her own clothes, and gave it a red mouth, and set it to watch the kettle of bran. And then she went home to her mother. Back again came the rabbit, saying, Get up." And he went up, and he hit the straw figure on the head, so that it tumbled down. And the rabbit thought that he had killed his bride, and he went away and was very sad. Now, that's the end. That's the end of the story. I find it an interesting story. It's very much like many fairy tales in that, obviously, a talking rabbit is nothing to be surprised at, and the number 3 comes into play in many fairy tales. 3 times you're propositioned, 3 times you're tempted, and the third time is the charm. Many times, and it seems strange to me that although it's a normal woman and daughter for some reason living in a cabbage patch, the answer to their problem is for her to agree to marry the rabbit, and for some reason just sitting upon his tail and agreeing to go off with him constitutes an agreement to a marriage proposal, apparently. And the way she fixed the straw figure of herself in her clothes to fool the rabbit so that she might escape implies that she didn't particularly want to go with or marry the rabbit, but perhaps was compelled to by the power of the third question. I find it very interesting and would love to hear your thoughts on it. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you at the next story time. Y'all be sweet.